Last night, as I'm recording this video, was the draft lottery for the 2021 NBA draft. So now we officially know the order that we're going to be working with this draft. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my mock draft for the lottery, the top 14, the order I think it's going to go in, what each team, which player they're going to get in the lottery, and ultimately how I think this draft is going to go down. I think this is a really good draft class overall. I think in 2016, 2017, 18, and 19, those were all pretty good draft classes, but to be completely honest, I think the 2020 draft class is going to end up going down as an under average one. Obviously, we've only seen one full year of them, but I don't think there's anything specifically special about that draft class. But this one right here is also a really deep draft class with a lot of guys that I think could be top 10 players throughout their careers, at times in the league be top 10 players, and some of these guys are really going to have amazing careers in the NBA, and overall this draft class I think is really good. So I'm excited to do this mock draft. Now before we get started, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos. I'm posting lots of NBA content right now, so make sure you don't miss out on any new videos and hit that subscribe button. With that being said, let's get into it. With the first overall pick, the Detroit Pistons are going to be selecting Cade Cunningham. Pretty much all of us know that Cade is pretty much the consensus number one pick. He's a 6'7" point guard. He pretty much has no weaknesses out there on the floor. His only main weakness that really sticks out is his turnovers. In college this year, he had more turnovers than assists, a 3.5 to 4.1 ratio of assists to turnovers. But other than that, this dude pretty much has no weaknesses. He's an insane overall player. A 6'7" point guard is obviously going to cause tons of mismatches. He's an elite 3-level scorer, can score pretty much anywhere on the court, creates his own shot a lot. Like I mentioned, obviously creates lots of mismatches with his height and length, and still shoots 40% from 3 as a 6'7" point guard. He's elite on the defensive end as well, is a very good perimeter defender, can guard pretty much anyone on the floor. Again, it's very unique that you see a 6'7" point guard. He's very switchable, versatile on that end of the floor, and a fantastic overall defender. And Cade Cunningham pretty much just has no weaknesses. He's also a really good rebounder too, and pretty much just other than turning the ball over, I have no doubts for Cade Cunningham. He's the closest thing you're going to get to a flawless player, and the Detroit Pistons are blessed to get him to help turn around their franchise right now. With the second overall pick, the Houston Rockets are going to be selecting Evan Mobley. Now, I think the Houston Rockets could trade down slightly because they already have Christian Wood. They wouldn't be exactly specifically going out to get another center like Evan Mobley, but if they don't end up trading down and getting another pick to maybe get Jalen Suggs or Jalen Green, they are going to select the best player on the board here, and that's absolutely Evan Mobley. He's another player here that barely has any weaknesses. The only really thing that stands out to me here is his strength and how he's not really strong yet, and might struggle a little bit sometimes defensively against big NBA centers, but especially defensively, he's an amazing overall player, one of the most versatile defenders in the draft class this year. He's obviously 7 feet tall, so he's a very good shot blocker as well, has a very high defensive IQ, like I mentioned, very versatile on that end of the floor, and this season with USC he averaged 3 blocks per game and is a fantastic overall rim protector and shot blocker. And then offensively, he has a very polished skill set. He's still working on developing a consistent 3-point shot, but if he gets that down, he's going to be one of the best big men in the league one day. He only shot 30% from 3 with USC this year, but he is going to continue to work on that and develop that. And overall, his offensive skill set is amazing. He's very good at scoring around the rim, has a very good touch around there, great in the post, has amazing footwork, and overall an amazing offensive game. So if he develops a 3-point shot, he's going to be absolutely unstoppable in the NBA. With the third overall pick, the Cavs are going to be selecting Jalen Green. Jalen Green is the definition of a scorer, and he's just going to dominate the NBA at some point in his career with his amazing scoring ability. Despite playing a level up this year and already playing in the G League, he still averaged 18 points per game and 20 points per game per 36 minutes on 61% true shooting. And he obviously creates his own shot a lot as well, and the fact that he's scoring this efficiently at that level is very good signs to come for his NBA career. He shot 37% from 3 as well, a lot of tough shots from 3 there, so he's going to develop into a great 3-point shooter one day, and if he plays the small forward in his rookie season here alongside Darius Garland and Colin Sexton, he's going to be a great fit on this Cavs team and fit in very well with them overall. He's a very good overall playmaker as well, and really the only doubts for Jalen Green is the defensive side of the game, but he's going to develop into a decent defender as well from what I've seen, and overall he's definitely a top 3 player in this draft. With the 4th overall pick, my Toronto Raptors are going to be selecting Jalen Suggs. If you guys watch a channel, you know I'm a huge Raptors fan. I'm from Canada, and I was absolutely ecstatic when I heard that they moved up to a top 4 pick. So that was awesome. Now, I would like to see them potentially explore an option and trade up to try to get the 2nd pick and Evan Mobley, because they really need a player like Mobley right now, a versatile center. But if they don't, they're going to be selecting Suggs here, which is still very good. Kyle Lowry is at the later years of his career, and if they can get Suggs as their main point guard and leader going forward, that would be awesome. Jalen Suggs is the definition of a great leader, and once he gets more experience in the NBA, he's going to be a great leader there too. Per 36 minutes in college, he averaged 18 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and 6 assists per game, and 2.5 steals per game as well. He's great on the defensive side of the floor, pretty versatile, and a very good perimeter defender, one of the best perimeter defenders in the draft. That is something that's going to be really good on a team like the Raptors. He would really fit into their defensive system very well, develop his scoring a little bit more. He's pretty efficient too, and overall he also does not have many weaknesses and would fit well on this Raptors team. With the 5th overall pick, the Magic are going to be selecting Jonathan Kuminga, who also played in the G League this year, and I think he has a lot of potential offensively. He averaged 16 points per game with the G League Ignite this season, but really wasn't efficient at all. If he was more efficient, he could possibly be the number 1 overall pick in this draft. He only shot 39% from the field, 25% from 3, and 50% true shooting, but as he develops in the NBA, he's going to become more efficient and more smart offensively. He's very tall, has a very long wingspan. He's very long. He's going to use that to his advantage in the NBA, and he might be the very best defender in this draft. He's one of the very rare players who can defend anyone 1 through 5 on the court. Obviously extremely versatile and switchable, and on a team like the Magic, he's going to be very valuable for them defensively, and defensively he reminds me of a player like Jonathan Isaac. So if the Magic could get another player like John Isaac, have both him coming back and Kuminga coming to the team, they're going to be looking pretty scary defensively with 2 guys that can potentially win a Defensive Player of the Year down the road in their career. Overall, Kuminga is so good defensively, and because of that, even just alone, he's a top 5 player in this draft. With the 6th overall pick, the OKC Thunder are going to be selecting Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell is the player that every coach wants on their team. Defensively, he's incredible. There's so many good defenders in this draft. Davion Mitchell is easily the best perimeter defender in this draft. He has Defensive Player of the Year talent. He's an amazing on-ball defender. He can take on the task, especially for the Thunder, of guarding the other team's best player every night. He's an incredible perimeter defender, does a great job, but he has great hands, gets a lot of steals, is a great help defender on the perimeter as well. Doesn't do a ton offensively, but is still really efficient. He does average 5 assists per game. He did that with the Baylor Bears this season, and is very efficient too, shooting 51% from the field, 45% from 3, and 62% true shooting. An efficient player who's amazing defensively, is absolutely one of the best players in this draft. With the 7th overall pick, the Golden State Warriors are going to be selecting Scotty Barnes here. Scotty Barnes would be the perfect fit alongside the Splash Brothers. He's a 6'9", 7'2" wingspan point forward who has amazing ball handling and playmaking skills for his position. Just imagine how good that goes alongside Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the perimeter shooters and movers on this team. His size and playmaking and ball handling just completely complements this team's offense. Defensively, he can play as a center defensively as well, does a great job of protecting the rim, uses his size, his wingspan to his advantage. His scoring ability still needs work, but he was fit so well on this Warriors team, and because of this playmaking ability, is definitely the best player to pick here, in my opinion, for this Warriors team. With the 8th overall pick, the Magic are going to be selecting Franz Wagner. He's the younger brother of Mo Wagner of the Washington Wizards right now, and if I were to describe Franz's game in one word, it would be versatile. He can pretty much do anything offensively. He does a great job of moving off the ball, can score in the three-point range, in the mid-range. He can score on the ball, like he can create his own shot. He's a very good playmaker, cutter, passer. He's a good rebounder, and defensively, he's also versatile in that end. He can defend pretty much any position 1 through 4 and does a great job of pretty much doing everything. He doesn't really do anything at an elite level, but he's very versatile, and if the Magic want to contend for a championship a few years in the future, a versatile role player like Franz Wagner would be exactly what they need. With the 9th overall pick, the Sacramento Kings are selecting Jalen Johnson. He's another player that's very versatile offensively. He's efficient, shooting 52% from the field and 44% from 3 with his 13 games with Duke this season, and per 36 minutes he also averages 10 rebounds and around 4 assists. He's a good facilitator, can create a lot of space, and does a great job screening too. The definition of a versatile offensive player, and pretty good defensively as well. A two-way facilitating power forward is exactly what I think the Sacramento Kings need right now as well, so I think he'd fit pretty well in that team. With the 10th pick, the New Orleans Pelicans will be selecting Moses Moody, and I don't know if he's exactly the best player in the draft right now, and I'm not really following the rule here of take the best player available, but he would fit so well in the Pelicans because he's the best 3-and-D player in this draft. He shoots a lot of threes and does a pretty good job of it, shooting around 37% from 3 in college, and is projected to shoot around 38% from 3 in the NBA, and the Pelicans really need a floor spacer like this to not only knock down some threes consistently, but also to space the floor, especially for Zion Williamson and also Brandon Ingram. He's also a pretty good perimeter defender, which the Pelicans could need too, and I think he'd fit really well on this team and provide a lot of good things for them right away at the NBA level. With the 11th overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets are going to select Corey Kispert. He's the best shooter in this draft. He's the definition of a great three-point shooter and contributes a lot offensively. He's not great defensively, but the Hornets could really use a great shooter like this to go alongside a pure scorer like Gordon Hayward and facilitators like LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier. For Gonzaga this year, Corey Kispert shot 44% from 3 on 6.5 attempts per game, 53% from the field, 88% from the line, 64% effective field goal percentage, and 67% true shooting, with a +9 offensive box plus minus and a 133 offensive rating. You can see how just his shooting ability alone contributes so much to the offense of a team, and the Hornets could definitely use a guy like this. With the 12th overall pick, the Spurs are selecting Keon Johnson. Some people have Keon Johnson as high as 6 in their mock draft. I dropped him a little bit lower here because I don't really think he's ready to impact the game at the NBA level yet, especially with his scoring. He's not very efficient at all right now, and he has a lot of work to do. He definitely could develop into one of the best two-way players or two-way guards in the league one day, and he would fit really well with the Spurs here too, with his elite perimeter defense, his very high energy, active hands, great instincts on the defensive end of the floor, but offensively he's just not there yet. Like I said, he could develop into something great. He's very explosive at the rim, but right now his scoring's pretty raw and he needs some development, so that's why I've dropped him a little bit here, but he absolutely still has a lot of potential and would fit well in the Spurs too with his two-way game. With the 13th overall pick, I've got the Pacers selecting Jared Butler. Most people don't have Jared Butler in their lottery, but I really think he's a sleeper pick here to be as high as the 13th overall pick. He's ready to impact the NBA now, and that's what I like about him so much. He's absolutely a 3-level scorer, scores very effectively around the rim, in the mid-range, and from 3. Shot 47% from the field and 42% from 3 with Baylor this season, and helped them win the national championship. He's got experience with winning. He's the definition of a winning player, a very good defender as well, had a defensive rating of 94 this season, along with a defensive blocks plus minus of +4. He's a very good defender, absolutely a 3-level scorer, and a pretty good playmaker. He pretty much has no weaknesses out here, and I honestly don't see how he shouldn't make the lottery. And lastly, with the 14th overall pick, the Warriors are selecting Kai Jones. He's a great lob threat, great in transition, and does a great job of scoring around the rim in general, and shot 65% true shooting this year with Texas. He's mainly the best lob threat in this draft. That's kind of the main component of his offensive game, and can be a really good shot blocker, rim protector, and a good defensive anchor off of the bench for this Warriors team at first. I think Wiseman and Kai Jones could be the two centers for this team going forward, and they don't need a ton of production from them, but they can both be really good role players for this team down the road in their future. And a lob threat like Kai Jones, along with a player earlier in the draft like Scotty Barnes, would be great additions to this Warriors team, and really both of them would fit great with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So there you have it. That is the end of today's video. That is my mock draft for the 2021 NBA draft, so feel free to comment down below your thoughts. Thank you all for watching this video. As I mentioned, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all next video.